What is up, guys? It is 14 Silver X, and we are on part, I think it might be 3, of our scrolling shooter game. And last episode, I believe I told you that we would be shooting our space rocks that we have created. So yeah, we have our space rocks, we can shoot, and our space rocks are created. Okay, so now we want to be able to shoot our space rocks and have them be destroyed when we shoot them. This is fairly easy. All you have to do is open up your space rock, and then add event, collision, and when our space rock collides with our shot 1 in main 1, recycle bin, destroy itself. This says, when our space rock collides with shot 1, it will destroy itself. Now, this will also mean that our shot does not get destroyed. So our shot will rip through the space rock and start to damage anything behind it. To make the game more challenging and maybe more realistic depending, we want it so that when it collides with our space rock, it also gets destroyed. So instead of opening up shot 1 and putting in the space rock, we'll just have the space rock do all the work. So all we have to do is drag another recycle bin into the action for collision with shot 1, and click other. Now whenever you say other applies to what the object you're in is colliding with. So since we have a collision right here with shot 1 and we put other here, other refers to shot 1. So now our space rock will get destroyed and our shot will disappear when it hits the space rock. Excuse me. Alright. So now we want to be damaged when we collide with our space rock. So here, we're in our player 1 now. We're going to add an event and create. This basically means the start of the game. You want to use create if you have one room. If you have multiple, you might want to use start of game. But for now, just use create. And this means when it's created or when it first enters, like when the start of the game. And there's a score tab, and there's something called health. So we're going to now make a health bar thing for our spaceship. So we're going to set health. The maximum was 100, so we're going to put 100. Alright, so now we have our health, but we can't see our health. And so we want to be able to see it. So, add event, and there's something called draw. Now with draw, it also takes away the sprite. So right now, we want to draw our health bar, but once we put that in there, it will only draw the health bar, which means the sprite will now disappear. So we'll have to draw the sprite in too. So, but first let's do our health bar. Alright, so x1, y1, x2, y2 are basically the top left corner, I believe, and the bottom right corner to make our health bar. And then your back color and the bar color. Alright, so I have to think about this. Our origin from our sprite is the middle, 32 divided by 2, 16. 16 up, so we'll put about 16 to the side, 16 up. Let's go with 20, 20. No, wait, that's for the bottom. 20, 20 up. Negative 20, 40. So this will put it right over. I'm going to make the back color black. Relative, so it follows your spaceship around. So after you've done that, in the draw tab, you have a draw sprite, and we want to draw, so it contains spaceship 1, which is our player, at the relative origin, so it's just going to give it that mask. So, I actually put our health bar under our spaceship. But anyway, while we're here, Alright, so our shots do now destroy our space rocks. Oops. We're going to work on that later, making sure we don't leave the room. Alright, so now we can destroy space rocks. Alright, so I did this wrong. -20 from the X. So the X's are okay. The Y, not so much. Alright, so let me set that to negative. Hopefully we'll flip it to the other side. Yes. Okay, and that's a bit thick. Yeah, 40 is a bit too much. So you can play around with the health bar to see, get the size. So that's good for now. Alright, so now we want to lose health. So, same thing, colliding with the space rock. But this time, we're not going to destroy ourselves, we're going to lose some health. We're going to lose 10 health. Make sure you check the relative, so it's -10 from whatever we have. Or else we'll die instantly, unless you want that. And we also want our space rock to be destroyed because it just shatters all over our ship. So we take the recycle bin and we check other, because since it's colliding with our space rock, other applies to the space rock. So we are flying around, and I don't know if you saw, but we did lose a piece of health. And as you can see, the color is changing as we begin to lose health. And then eventually our health bar will go all the way down, but we won't die yet. So now it's time to die, in a sense. So we're going to create a step event, which means it checks or happens mostly constantly. And in this score, we're going to check our health. And if it's smaller than, I'm going to say smaller than 1 because this means once it's 0. If you did smaller than 0, that means your health could be 0 and you wouldn't die. Like that magic pixel stuff or whatever. So when it's smaller than 1, we die. Self. And that's it, we die. Now, when we die, we want to have like our high score and all that, or for the game to restart. So first we need to give ourselves a score. And that is also in the score tab. Imagine that. So right here, set score, 0. Alright, so now when we shoot our space rock, we want to get some points for that. So open up your space rock, and in where we, when it gets destroyed by our shot, we're going to drag our score, and let's get 5 points out of that. Check relative. So you gain 5 points. Alright. Player 1. And also, I don't think this has to be in the draw. Right here is our score caption. It will show our score. And right now, since we already have a health bar, we won't show our health or lives since we don't have any lives yet. So this will show our score. And when we die, we want to see the high score bar. The background, I'm just going to set it to space. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now, remember if you're in computer science or anything, with if statements, or C++, Java, this if health is smaller than 1, if this is true, this will happen. And then it will just exit the if statement. So basically, for each second of the game, it will always show the high score table. And you don't want that. You want it to only show when we are dead or our health is smaller than 1. So we have to put these events into a block. So right here in our control, these blocks, this is the start, the end, and we all put it right here. And so all of this happens when this happens. So sometimes your games won't work or stuff will bug up because you will mess up your block stuff. So you always have to check that. Alright, so let's go test out our game. And as you can see at the top, we have our score. So let's shoot something, and our score increased. Yippee! We're going to die. Great. Now, when I wanted to score, at least I got some, but when I wanted to die, everything just disappeared. I want to die. There we go. Alright, so here is our high score. I got the high score of 10. Yeah, who's better than me? Nobody. See what I did there? Alright, so then you can type in your name. And the only problem is the game keeps on going. So we want the game to restart once we die. And in our main one tab, right here, with the room key with the arrow pointing up is restart room. Take that and drag it into our block. And then it will restart the room. You have an effect. I'll just do fade out and in. Okay, so now we play the game twice. I'm going to die. Oh, I should have been there. No. Alright, so now I didn't get any points, and I was better than nobody, per se. And 14 Silver X still has the top score. So now when we close that, it restarts our game for us. Yippee. So now we have that working. So we can lose health, we can shoot stuff to gain points, and all that. So now I'm going to show you how to keep our player inside the room. Now, this is the part of our game or stage where you have to pick the room size you want. If you want it bigger or smaller than this, you have to decide now. Well, I guess you don't have to decide now, but it would be a pain just to go back and fix it later. So decide what you want. I'm going to make this a bit bigger because I want to introduce bosses and all that. So let's go with 1,800. That seems a bit too big. I like that. This I like. Okay. Alright, I'm going to go with this. Except, I'm going to move our player down here. Okay. So now we want to keep our player in the room. So, if you remember, I set my room size to 800 by 800. So, we're going to go into our step, and in control we have variables. Now here's the variable, and we want to make sure when our spaceship's X value is close to that 800 number that it doesn't move anymore or bounces back. So what we're going to do is you have to put the name of your object exactly how it is. So I put player 1, and then you put dot X. Make sure there's no spaces unless there's spaces in your object. And even then you don't really want spaces because then it gets confusing, so that's why I use the underscore. Alright, so I put that in, and then the value of the width of my room was 800, but then the origin of my sprite is 16. So 16 from that 800. Oh, here we go, math. 800 minus 16 is 784. Alright. That took a while. I might even be wrong. Alright, so when it's larger, I'm going to go with larger, and we move about 5. So when it's larger than 784, we're going to go back to our move and the jump. So if our X were larger than 784, which means we would be going too far to the right, which means we want to bounce back left. Since our speed to the right was positive 5, we're going to set x to negative 5 relative. And it works. We can no longer pass this invisible border past 784. Yay. Alright. So the rest is pretty simple. All you have to do is hold down Control, copy, paste, and now you have to do, if it's smaller than 16, positive 5. So now we have left and right. So now we want to do up and down, which is easy again. Just duplicate that. And instead of .x, we're going to put .y, so it's up and down. And our value was 784, because it's 800 by 800. You'll have to change yours depending on your player size and room size. Since we're dealing with up, so 784, which means we've gone too far down, so we need to go back up, which, remember, y up is negative. Duplicate that. Y 16 smaller than, this is positive 5. Alright, so if I've done everything correctly and put the negatives and positives where they're supposed to go, I can no longer go all the way down. Oops. So I have done something incorrectly. Yes, it will happen. Alright. Alright, so I forgot to set my negative x to positive. Okay. As long as you know what you did wrong, it's fine. If you don't know what you did wrong, message me or something. I'll always try to get back to you. Alright, so I can no longer go too far up. Alright, so now we good, per se. Alright, so we have been able to give ourselves a score. We can die, we can shoot stuff and get score, we can lose health, and we have a high score bar, and we can no longer leave the room. A good episode's work, I would say. I am saying. So don't forget to save your game. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, unless you're already subscribed, then that would just be redundant. And next episode, we'll start making more enemies, or if you care, we can go on to some graphic stuff, and the little I know on graphics, because I can't draw on the computer that well. Alright, so I'll see you next episode. Thanks for watching.